Welcome to 5 Minutes Alone with God. Today we are in Psalm 53. Just to start off with, remember when we are reading the Psalms, we are talking about a section of Scripture that is focusing on poetry, and poetry conveys emotion. And so the writers are trying to convey their emotional feelings through writing. This is different than narrative or the prophetic writing or the literature writing that we see in other portions. So let's begin. The fool says in his heart, "There is no God." They are corrupt and have done abominable iniquity. There is none who does good. God looks down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there is any who understands, who seek God. Every one of them has turned aside. They have together become corrupt. There is none who does good. No, not one. Have the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread, and do not call upon God? There they are in great fear, where no fear was. For God has scattered the bones of him who encamps against you. You have put them to shame, because God has despised them. Oh, that the salvation of Israel would come out of Zion, when God brings back the captivity of his people. Let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad. So what is the author trying to communicate here? Well, right off the bat, we see that the attitude is that the fool says in his heart, there's no God. So there's a general attitude of people saying, God does not exist. They're atheists. Or worst, they're religious atheists. And so God gives a commentary. God looks down and says, the people are acting and living as if I don't exist, but that's not true. They act as if they are afraid, but I have interceded on their behalf, and they are afraid of things that they shouldn't be afraid of. In fact, they should trust in me. And the psalmist ends, oh, that salvation would come of God, that God would return the people from captivity, and that they would rejoice. That's what's going on in the passage. This is a sad passage of Scripture, because there's nothing in it that's telling us that they are uplifted. They are in a state in which the people are looking around and they have lost their faith. They have lost the idea that God exists and God is for them. So how would we apply something like this? Well, the first thing that we need to look at and be reminded of is that God is interceding on our behalf, even if we can't see that. God is there for us. We are reminded of that as we are spending time reading Scripture. Just because others are acting and saying and quoting, oh, God doesn't exist. If God existed, why are so many people hungry? If God existed, why is there so many wars? If God existed, why is there such chaos? Well, we should be able to answer that and just say, because man's heart is exceedingly wicked. God tells us that, and we see that day in, day out, don't we? But we have a choice, and that day is the day in which you and I can say, I'm going to follow God. That's some application that we can have for today. How would you apply this scripture to your life? Have a great day. Proverbs chapter 6, 1 verse 11.